LSU had a big practice on Saturday. Check out the article, LouisianaSports.net. Our guys Chris Marler and our very own Taylor Sharp.
Let's go, Tay.
Kind of giving you the latest and greatest, and so I'm going to throw it to our guy now. Probably the biggest takeaway, Taylor, would be that Garrett Nussmeier has both legs, was out there, and we can all move past what happened in the middle of last week. But more than that, what were some of your biggest takeaways from practice?
Well, Mansour Delane looked excellent. He had two picks. He had two tackles for a loss.
Mansour.
They moved him around a little bit. You were asking last week, Matt, about who's playing the nickel. They moved Mansour in there, and he blitzed off the edge a few times. Okay. Looked really good. I thought Michael Van Buren had his best practice since I'd been out there by a lot.
Which we need,
we needed.
But because you came in last week and you were like, the practices I've been to.
You kind of poo-pooed on a little bit.
He had not been great. I mean, and you look, you're like, okay, I know they brought him in because he started 8 games in the SEC. He just didn't look good. The accuracy wasn't there. He looked good. He looked good. On Saturday, you watched him. You're like, that guy can play in the SEC. Like now you see. Maybe he just needed a little bit of time with these receivers, a little bit of everything. But I thought he had a really good practice. Trey'Dez Green continues to be a matchup nightmare. I mean, they're going to, just wait for the sideline catches. They throw it to him time and time again. Nobody can cover him. Linebacker, safety, corner, doesn't matter. Put anybody on him. Can't cover him. Kyle Parker is going to play a lot this year. They did 11-on-11 period twice. Now, it was only about 10 plays apiece on Saturday, but both times at 11-on-11, Kyle Parker was one of the starting 3. It was Chris Hilton, Xavier Thomas, Kyle Parker, both times. I mean, that was their starting 3 guys.
I think I don't know if we told our listeners this. We told Taylor and Alondra this. We had 2 LSU coaches in the practice that we went to. We didn't ask them about Kyle Parker. They told us about Kyle Parker. We were talking offense. We were talking guys who had good days, and both the coaches brought Kyle Parker out and kind of waxed poetic about him. So, that's another
Well, and Kelly mentioned him. First press conference Kelly had a fall camp. They said, tell us about the receiver room. Kyle Parker, first name out of his mouth. Unsolicited, just said, tell us about the receivers. He's going to play a lot. He looks good.
What positions he's lining up at for the most part?
So he's been on the outside a lot, and it's been Thomas in the slot. Now, Anderson, back at practice, he didn't participate in 7-on-7 or 11-on-11. So, I mean, he's obviously in that rotation as well. But
I'm assuming Hilton's at X?
Hilton is at X, yes. Hilton is on the side by himself.
Okay.
And it's kind of been Parker and Xavier Thomas on the same side.
So he's been a little bit more of a Z.
Right.
So an X would be normally just lined up to your left. Z would be lined up to your right for our listeners. That's how usually the X is your dominant, really good pass runner, route runner, pass catcher, your straight up guy that can beat people deep and run good crisp routes outside. X doesn't move in the slot a lot traditionally, a lot more in the last 5-6 years in offenses.
Well, so that's the thing. A lot of times, sometimes Parker's in the slot, sometimes Xavier is. Yeah. Chris Hilton's out wide every time, to your point.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
One of your takeaways, I see in your report, again, check it out. Great job by Marler and Tay, LouisianaSports.net. Juwan Johnson.
Yes.
And the practice we went out to, he's involved. He is involved in the first-team offense. There is a plan for him. But with JT Lindsey right now suspended, and who knows how all that's going to play out, he's going to have to be big at running back. You already kind of had me nervous about the group just because you had nothing but young players and unproven players behind Caden Durham. Juwan Johnson's going to have to play some running back. And I know he's done quarterback drills. I know he's been in their individual period. He has got to give them something at the running back position because right now it is a concern as far as what your depth looks like.
Well, so that's where I was going. You were talking about working with quarterbacks there in individual period, not on Saturday. On Saturday, he was with the running backs in individual period, and he was actually running with the twos. I think if the season started today, Juwan Johnson's probably your number 2 back. And I was telling Matt before the show started, first team offense, 11-on-11. I saw Juwan Johnson line up at quarterback, running back, receiver for the first team offense. Because they had a little formation that they did where Nuss was under center. He'd motion out wide, and then it's Caden Durham and Johnson, and Durham's just lead blocking for Juwan Johnson, kind of a little wildcat package. In there at receiver, in there at running back. You better hope he's good because he's going to play a lot. He's going to play a lot of football.
I want to see Nussmeier in motion.
That sounds an awful, a play and a package you put in while the media is out
Right.
there. So Clemson's got a couple things extra to work on.
Because you were asking,
Yeah.
you're like, why would they show that in
Why
practice?
would they
Mike?
show
'Cause
that
they'll
at
probably
practice?
never run it.
Yeah, they'll never run. They'll just make Clemson work on it.
But they did that a lot in like their goal line period. That was kind of their go-to formation. There were a lot of drops on Saturday. That was maybe my biggest negative takeaway.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not looking too much into it because that hasn't been an issue all fall camp. I think your receivers are studs, but I hadn't seen Bauer Sharp drop a ball all fall camp. He dropped 2 on Saturday. I mean, Jelani Watkins, he's had trouble with his hands. He dropped a couple.
It's contagious.
Barian Brown dropped a deep ball that Nuss put on the money. Barian Brown just couldn't control it. But outside of that, like the O-line had a lot of penalties. On 11 on 11, they had 5 penalties. 4 of them pre-snap false start. But out of the 5 penalties, 4 of them were the second team O-line. So, I mean, I'm not looking too much into that as well, but that's probably my only 2 negatives. Overall, I thought there were some guys that flashed.
What about the interior offensive line? That's been something that we've talked about. They've had some times where they've gotten beat in pass rush situations in 11 on 11. How did they look?
I thought they looked a lot better in the run game because, like I mentioned, there were some guys that got pressure, but it was Pyburn off the edge. It was Mansour Delane off the edge. Like, you hear about you can't block Bernard Gooden. Bernard Gooden did not live in the backfield on Saturday like he had. I mean, there were a couple blown plays, but at least running, like the inside run period or whatever, it was better than it had been, for sure.
Yeah, it's a group that you're going to pay attention to because, remember, Clemson's got 3 Sunday players in their front 7, and I'm not talking about late-round draft picks. I'm talking about first 3-round guys, and so that's going to be the group to kind of pay attention to throughout fall camp. A quarterback will tell you, I can live with pressure from the outside. I can do nothing with it if it's coming in the interior.
Yeah, if you don't have a place to step up, if you don't have a place to move around, good quarterbacks with, smart tackles, they don't always have to win, but as long as even if a tackle gets beat, they can push them out of the way a little bit enough for a good quarterback to slide. But if you got nowhere to step up to, it's makes your life really hard. If you got guys at your feet, nearly impossible to play the position. So I don't know. It's good to hear that the offensive lineman is coming together a little bit. The first week of training camp, especially this day and age where in training camp you're not really going live early on. There's like an acclimation period that all these colleges, that's the new trend, keep people healthy, acclimation. It's hard on offensive linemen when you're practicing in shells and not going full contact, not going full speed, because it's just nobody else. Everybody goes full speed anyway in the trenches.
Yeah. But
you don't have all the padding and like the rules behind what you're doing to really kind of throw your body in there. So, it's good that in these full contact live drills, at least live in the trenches, live with offensive line, that they are showing up a little bit. So that's the big question mark. So if we can get that handled, but like you said, Clemson, they got 3 guys in their front 7.
They're really good.
It's going to be a Joe Sloan type of game plan, especially early on when there's going to be a lot of hype. That team's going to be flying around. It's withstanding the early punches. It's like a heavyweight boxer coming out there and swinging for the fences the first minute or 2 of a fight. That's how the first, usually in a big games, opening games, that's usually how the first drive and a half goes. As an offense, you just got to withstand the blows. Don't take no turnovers. Don't lose the game in the first drive.
One thing, because I just got hit up on social media talking about Kyle Parker, and they're like, what about the transfer receivers? Just because you bring somebody in doesn't mean they're going to win the job. I think that's important to remember. And also, you have the argument, but you brought this guy in to be the guy. That's fine, but you're at LSU. So if you recruit Kyle Parker to come play at LSU, he's an LSU recruit. When you sign with LSU out of high school, you're the best of the best. Like, you're top-tier high school talent. So just because you bring somebody in, no matter, even if it's another SEC school, if Kyle Parker is holding them off and winning that job, that's not a thing to be worried about. That's just a guy that you recruited, again, a top-tier high school talent, stepping his game up whenever there's competition. When you bring somebody in through the portal, that should not guarantee them a damn thing. Not at all. They should be just like they're coming from high school as far as, like, you have to go earn your job. So if Kyle Parker is earning his job, that's not to be worried. Like, maybe the transfer receivers are playing good. Maybe they are, but maybe they're not playing as well as Kyle Parker. So that is not like a slight at the receiver room. That's just a guy that you recruited, homegrown, developed, stepping up and winning a competition.
Also, like, look, all of these guys are going to play. When I say the starters, I just mean the first couple reps of 11-11, they were out there.
Yeah, right.
All of these guys are going to play.
Right, but I don't
Barry
think you
Brown
need to roll
may
9
play.
receivers out there.
No, I agree.
I think then you could, next segment when we come out, you can tell me different. Like, I want like core 5 guys.
I agree.
The core 5, and then we'll figure out of that 5 kind of.
And I think you have 6 right now. So you feel really good about.
This is a philosophical statement. This didn't have a Kyle Parker's name or any transfer's name on it. But like, if you bring in a transfer who's a highly recruited guy to play a position, but the fallback of that is it made somebody else that was currently on your team better to beat that guy out. It was a successful signing.
Yeah.
Right? You're signing a guy to have a very good rider. So if it makes somebody else better, so what?
A lot of times you draft a guy. Hey, we drafted a guy in the 2nd, 3rd round. Like, y'all going to compete for the job. Let's go see what you got.
Yep.
Spencer Rattler. Drafted Tyler Shuck in the 2nd round.
Yep.
All right, let's see what you got.
Yep.
You going to win the job, or are you going to let the 2nd rounder get it? And if Spencer Rattler raises his level of play and beats out Tyler Shuck, right? Tyler Shuck might not have worked as a 2nd-round pick, but if you get the best out of Spencer Rattler, there's benefits of that. So
when Green Bay took Jordan Love, I was like, they're like, why did they do that? Well, Aaron won MVP 2 times in a row. I was like, that's the greatest 1st-round pick of all time. You drafted a 1st-round guy, and it pissed your vet off to get MVP twice. Like, even if Jordan Love never played,
Jordan's really good.
It was a great 1st-round pick.